Okay, so we are back on the Harbor Freight 3-inch trash pump here today. Made a video about this in the past, how I was swapping out the carburetor, and I'm going to be doing it again, I think on the same pump. And the primary issue there was that this paper air filter somehow gets damp and then craters on the inside. It sucks all that debris into the carburetor and junks it. These carburetors are cheaper and easier to replace than they are to rebuild, because you have to take it off to rebuild and clean it anyway, so it's like 15 bucks, just swap it out. But what's interesting that I noticed on this one is this thing is full of water, rusty water. When I took the air breather off, this up here has mud in it, which of course well, I guess it could, because that's the clean air before it goes to the filter. But then looking down inside of the actual carburetor intake here, there was a puddle of water, rusty water. Now, why in the world, I don't know. Unless this lid is cracked, which it's not that I can see, there should just not be any amount of water that gets into this thing. Unless you're, I mean, if you're running like in a hard downpour, maybe it would suck some moisture in, but I just don't see it. I don't understand where the water's coming from. What I really want to show you guys now is if you can see down inside of here. I'm probably not gonna be able to get the light right. Yeah, well, there we had it for a second. Come on, baby. Oh, come on. Right in there. If you guys can see, it's a little dark, I know, but that is the intake into the engine. It is full of water. Rust, sludge. I mean, just nasty. Nasty. I can't even wrap my head around how that much water got in here. I guess it could be water settling out of the gasoline. Maybe. But no. No. That'd be water in the bottom of the carb bowl, but that wouldn't explain water. That wouldn't explain water on that side, I don't think, unless the entire carburetor is full of water and it actually spilled over, which I guess it could have been. I guess you could have had so much water in the gas that the settling bowl filled with water and then spilled back over here. I don't know. That carburetor's been messed up and junked for a while though, to where the throttle was hung wide open and I could never adjust it anyway. I'm showing you guys darkness. That carburetor. So it needed to be replaced anyway, because I would start this pump and it would just run wide open. I could never adjust the throttle that was hung up. The actual throttle linkage here is just tight. Like I can't even turn it by hand. I had to get pliers on it to move it. So, you know, the whole thing's messed up. But I'm hoping right now, I've got the old carb off. I'm gonna pull the spark plug out and I'm gonna pull the rope a couple times and try to blow out just in case there is any water that's in the cylinder. And I've done this before too. This is a way that you can, if you ever flood your engine, you can do this too, to pull it out and try to get that extra liquid out of your cylinder. But anyway, I'm not gonna get that on film. I'm just telling you what I'm gonna do. I just thought that was really interesting how just slam full this thing was of water. Respectfully, I don't know why. I still don't understand why. But I suppose we'll get the new carburetor on. We'll let all the old gas drain out, get fresh gas in it, try to get everything purged, get a new carburetor on and see if we can get her going. You know, it dawned on me why this thing is so full of water. I said if it was running in a heavy rain, it could be a problem. This pump is the one that washed out here on the back of the pump body. So when this thing is running, it's blasting water out through this hole. So there's just water going everywhere when it runs. It's, you know, easily believable water gets over here and all this mess. And then it would just suck up a higher concentration of water through the air breather. So yeah, that's the problem. My other water pump has a good intake housing on it, or a good pump body. The other pump still runs. It just runs really, really rough. Like when it's running, it scares me. It sounds like, you know, I mean, if it was a multi-piston engine, it would sound like the pistons are switching cylinders, you know, but it just, I don't know if it slipped the bearing or what, but it clanks and clatters around. But then once it starts, it runs and it feels fine. But this one, when it was running smooth and better. So I'm going to try to build one good one out of this one. And then maybe if I get time, I'll see if I can tear the other one apart, figure out what's wrong with it, or just go buy another motor for the other one. Of course, that doesn't fix the issue with, I need to try to take this, see if I can take this body to a shop that can do aluminum welding and see if they can actually weld that up to patch that hole. I don't know if they can or not. I tried JB Weld and it didn't hold. Anyway, that's got to be where the extra water's coming from. That makes sense. Okay, so the pump butchering saga has continued here. New carburetor and everything on that one. Cannot get it to start. No idea why. I checked spark. It's got fuel. Everything about it should run fine. The only thing I could think would be compression. But that pump was fine and running great before the carburetor plugged up. Like I have no reason to believe the compression just magically went away by the pump, you know, just sitting, not running. So that one's kind of out. So I went to get this one, and this is the one that's been running, but I said it sounds like total crap when it does run, or when it starts. This one, the cage is all busted to crap, and so it's a pain to move. So I was going to take this pump and put it into that cage, which I'm still going to do. But I opened it, I went to pull it, and it was seized up. It wouldn't pull at all. And I figured maybe it was the pump body itself stuck, not the actual motor. Sure enough, pulled the pump out. I don't know what part of the pump was stuck, but once I pulled all the actual pump components out, the engine started, it broke loose, started right up. But something that I found, the bolt that goes right here in the middle that holds this thing in place was gone. Like just totally gone. Which would explain the racket that this thing makes when you pull it to start it, because all of this stuff in here is probably turning around and rubbing against itself. So we're gonna Frankenstein some stuff here. Really, I'm just gonna steal that bolt out of this pump, put this one back together, and see if we can get it running, because I gotta hold the pump out. So I just had this one started running fine. I'm gonna swap that bolt and that pump over, because this one doesn't leak either. You know, this one here is the one that's got the JB Weld on the back where it leaks. So this one is actually my better pump, aside from just how it sounded when it was running. But I'm gonna get that bolt out, and I am gonna swap it into this better cage, so maybe I've got at least one good pump, maybe. Well, all right, we just got it all back together. I just had it started and running again. So for the moment, I have one halfway decent trash pump. Piece of trash, piece of garbage. But you know what? I got nobody to blame. I keep buying these things. Anyway, so this one here, brand new carb. Don't fully understand. I'm not going to throw it out just yet, because I can still tinker on it and try to make it run, at least with the new carb. If I can get it running, then I can, like I said, see about going to a shop and getting that body welded up so that hole's fixed, and then I'd have a second pump. But for right now, it's going to be my parts pump. This one's running and going. I put it into the new cage. So this is our old busted cage here. You can see there's an entire leg missing. Yeah, pretty junky. So that's actually, right now, best I can say, brand new pump. Hasn't fell apart yet. But anyway, we're going to run it over here, get it set up on a pallet, and get it pumping, doing its job.